Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Middle Grade Monday. I'm Lorie, and I'm the teen librarian at Manlius Library in Central New York. And today I'm going to be telling you about some realistic fiction, modern day, everyday stories. We're going to start with Restart by Gordon Corman. What would it be like to forget everything? Your whole life, your family, your friends, even who you are. Well, after falling off his roof and hitting his head, 13-year-old Chase Ambrose learns the hard way that reinventing yourself can be pretty hard, especially when your past is not what you want for your future. Before his fall, Chase was a jock, captain of the football team, following in his father's footsteps. He was also the biggest bully in middle school. He'd made many students' lives miserable and was serving a community service sentence for the damage that his bullying had caused. Even Chase's little stepsister was afraid of him. If it were up to his dad and his former best friends, Bear and Aaron, Chase would go right back to his bully jock ways. But the new Chase is kinder, more sympathetic. He's a person who struggles with his past, and he works really hard to become friends with his former victims. This is a great book for anyone who's ever been on either side of a bullying. Next up, King and the Dragonflies by Cason Calendar. This is about King, a black kid living in the bayous in Louisiana. He's dealt the double blow of losing his beloved older brother and trying to contain an identity he is certain will cause his father to stop loving him. When Charles Sanders, the gay son of the racist sheriff and King's former best friend, disappears, and King realizes he was the last person to see Sandy, he wonders if he should tell anyone. King knows Sandy is a victim of domestic abuse, and he suspects that Sandy's father is the perpetrator. Finding Sandy hiding in his backyard, King struggles with the decision whether to help Sandy, and he also has to explore his own identity. This is an important, thoughtful, and beautifully written story, and the title, King and the Dragonflies, comes from the dragonflies that are everywhere in the bayou. King is certain that his brother has turned into one of those dragonflies after his death. It's a beautiful story. Highly recommended. Next we have We Could Be Heroes by Margaret Finnegan. This is about Hank. Autistic Hank Hudson lives in his own world. He's happy to go unnoticed by the classmates he can't keep straight in his mind, and feels protected by a trio of rocks that he chooses and carries with him every day. After a rare, rebellious incident, Hank attracts the attention of his classmate, Maisie, who invites him to see her geologist parents' rock collection. But Maisie has an ulterior motive. She wants to guilt Hank into helping her rescue her elderly neighbor's dog, Booler, a pit bull who experiences seizures. Booler lives outside. He's tied to a tree by his owner because of his condition. And due to Hank's earlier audacity, Maisie believes that Hank has the meatballs to save him. Hank is pretty upset that Maisie tried to trick him, and he's kind of hesitant to help, but he is excited to have a new friend. So he goes off on a series of misfires and misadventures with Maisie to permanently untether Booler, including a made-up school project to get close to Frank Jorgensen, Booler's human companion and Maisie's elderly neighbor. With each attempt, the pair realizes not all is what it seems, and matters are much more complicated than they thought. This is a fun, interesting story. Next, I have My Jasper June by Laurel Snyder. Leah, who's 13, is not looking forward to summer. She always has loved summer, but not this year. Ever since her brother drowned last year, she hasn't had much enthusiasm for anything. Her parents are pretty distant now, and they're grieving, and Leah herself has wandered away from her friends. She feels like no one can understand her. So she's especially surprised when she meets an interesting and outgoing girl named Jasper while she's out wandering the countryside by her home. Jasper is everything Leah currently is not. She's adventurous and willing to take risks, and soon the girls enter into a sudden friendship, and Jasper helps Leah confront her grief. But Jasper's life is not as sunny as it seems. She's hiding her own dark secrets. She's run away from an abusive home and is living in an abandoned house. Will Leah be able to offer her new friend the same support and protection Jasper offered her, or will she betray Jasper's secrets and ruin their friendship? This is a wonderfully written, great story for summer. And finally, last but certainly not least, All of Me by Chris Barron. This is about Ari, Ari is a self-described fat kid who hates it when people call him names, as they inevitably do. After a move across the country, his parents are at work selling and promoting his mother's paintings and sculptures. Ari's bohemian mother needs space to create, and his father is gone for long stretches of time on sales trips. But happily, he makes 2 new friends at his new school. The boy he nicknames Pick, who tells him hard truths about himself, and Lisa, who comes from a troubled home and who Ari soon develops romantic feelings for. After an upsetting incident with a bully, Ari's mom suggests he goes on a diet, and she gives him a book to help. But the book and the diet can't fix everything. As Ari faces the demise of his parents' marriage, he also feels himself changing, both emotionally and physically. This is a much needed story about accepting the imperfect in oneself and in life. So there you have it. 5 terrific realistic fiction books, something for everybody. If you're a teen in the summer reading program here in Manlius Library, your secret code today is HUMID. Head on over to your account, click on the Middle Grade Monday mission, and enter that secret code, HUMID, capital HUMID, to complete today's activity and get your points. Now I'm going to show you a really fun and easy painting technique using bubble wrap. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to do some really cool abstract painting using bubble wrap. You're going to need some bubble wrap. Any kind, any size bubbles will do. I happen to have on hand a bunch of bubble wrap with the little bubbles, but whatever you have on hand for bubble wrap will work. Something for your paints, to contain your paints. I like paper plates for that. Paints in whatever colors you want to use. Brushes. Water to rinse your brushes. And of course, something to paint on. You could do this on construction paper or cardstock or any kind of brown paper bags. This would work really great to make wrapping paper out of brown paper or white paper or even newspaper. I'm gonna use a canvas. Now let me show you what we're gonna do. Okay, I've got my canvas. And I've got my paper plate, so I'm going to put my paints on my paper plate. I'm using acrylics. It probably wouldn't work quite the same with watercolors, but you could always try it. And what color? Plum, violet. All right, so I've got my paint. I'm going to set the canvas aside for a minute. And I've got my bubble wrap. Now, you want to make sure that your bubble wrap isn't bigger than the place you're going to be painting. So what I'm going to do is tear it. It should tear. Most bubble wrap will tear. And set that aside. And let's just see. It's still a little bigger. So we're going to work in squares. Okay, so I've got squares of bubble wrap. I'm going to set these aside because you can use them over and over again. So we're going to take our bubble wrap and our paintbrush. Let's start with this one. And all you're going to do is paint onto the bubble wrap whatever design you want. I'm going to mix my colors and everything. Like I said, this would be a really great way to make homemade wrapping paper, or if you have blank greeting cards, or if you have cardstock and you just want to make your own greeting cards. I don't know anyone who wouldn't love to get a home printed Let's put some yellow in the middle, make this look a little bit like a flower. And you just paint on your bubble wrap. Now, you'll notice I'm working fairly quickly because I don't want the first batch of paint to dry before I get through the end of the paint. Okay, so put my paintbrush in the water so it doesn't get dry. Move my canvas to the middle, and then you just take your bubble wrap and very carefully, or not, set it down on your canvas. Don't drag it across, just press the bubble wrap. Okay? And then very carefully pick up the bubble wrap. And there you have a beautiful design. Now you can use your brush to put more paint on. And continue the same pattern, or you could use a fresh piece of bubble wrap and use different colors. I'm gonna do this and just kind of fill in with the same colors, but not necessarily in the same spot. It's a great way to get creative. Not everybody wants to just run out to the store to buy wrapping paper, so this is a great way to make your own. Or note cards. You could do stationery with it. It's really kind of unlimited. Okay, so whoop, always putting the brush in the water. So now I've got another piece of bubble wrap. I'm just gonna do this one in this corner. And you'll see it's going to overlap a little, but that's okay because this is just an abstract pattern. And lift that up, okay? And then maybe put it down there. You don't want to drag your bubble wrap because that'll just smear it. But wow. You could use any colors. And as I said, whatever bubble wrap you have on hand will work. There. So there you go, 5 great realistic fiction books and a fun and unique technique for making an abstract painting or perhaps creating your own wrapping paper or greeting cards or note paper for sending letters to people. I hope that you've enjoyed today's Middle Grade Monday. My name is Lorie and I'm the teen librarian here at Manlius Library. You can find me here on our YouTube channel every Monday at 4 o'clock for new book suggestions and a fun and quick craft. Have a great week and I'll see you next week. Happy reading.